Hey guys, in this video I wanted to cover Booleans and also some other ways that you can create some complex hard surface geometry without doing too much work. First thing we'll do is create this Wacom pen base, and this one's pretty easy. Just going to be simple Booleans. So let's just get started. I'm going to go to the side view, and first thing I'll do is create a curve so that I want to create the base first without those cutouts on the sides, and we'll just rough it in first. Like that. And then I'm just gonna start snapping to snapping the points to itself. Let's see, that there. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we'll do a revolve. So let's see, which is this guy here. I'm going to double click and I'm going to go straight to polygons. So let's reset. I'll show you what I mean. Polygons, and then we'll set it to general, quads, and I'm going to set this to 3D, and 3:3 is fine, and click apply. So we'll get this, and we'll go to NURBS tessellate under inputs, start to drag this, and you can see it starts to come together. But right now the geometry is inverted, so all we need to do is just invert it like this. Don't clear history, that way we can still work with this. I'm going to change this one to the per span number of isoparms and reduce this number to something a little more manageable. I think that's pretty good. And then this way I'm gonna keep it on 3D, and what I'm looking for is a subdivision at 45 degrees. I always want a line there. So let's see, I think 25 should be good. And then we can always adjust our curve if the shape is not exactly what we want. So let's do this. Let's bring this down. Okay. Okay, that's good. Alright, so that's done, and now I want to add, well, not yet, we'll add a bevel here, but first I want to flatten this out. It'll be easier to work with later on. So I'm just holding V and dragging middle mouse button to snap this edge and that edge together like that. And then for this, I don't like to leave poles like that, so I'm going to do something different here. I'm actually going to delete this hole here like that. You can clear history, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to fill this like that, right? And then I'm just going to draw some loops. Some edge loops like this. And then we're going to average. I'm just pressing G like that, so you can see what we have. And then I want to make this into a point, and I like to keep it, I like this kind of geometry because it makes everything nice and clean all quads. I'm going to select this vertex here, press B for self select, then hold B and drag until I just touch the outside ring. See how it turns black, means I just touched it. And then if you double click the move tool, we can go into the soft select. I'm going to change it to just a straight line like this. Like that. And now from the side view, I can just select the Y direction and drag this down like that. And then I'm going to select this again like that, just those vertices there, and I'm going to add a lattice and then add a division vertical like this. Make sure my FFD is all the way at 30, and then just scale this out. We can also move this down, and this way we can get a nice smooth curve here. And you can see the shape we get, nice and clean, all quads. And then we can add a loop here like this. Let's do it without that. And just scale that out a little bit. And you can see the shape that we get. We can also select these vertices here and shift average. There we go. Now we need to add those shapes there. That's easy. We'll create a cylinder, snap it here, like that. And let's get the right size that we want. I think it should be higher. Like, I'm not really measuring anything, but you really want to do it. I'm just showing you the process that I would use to do it. I'm going to then turn on wireframe on shaded, and I want to look at this, and then I want to slide my subdivisions until I get to something that I can kind of see how it will connect. I'll try and explain that. So if I the subdivision number here doesn't matter as long as it's even. We are basically looking to connect this somehow and have enough geometry here as well. So I'm looking where the lines can go. See, like this edge here can connect to this vertex. This one can go here, but then we have an extra one there that I'm not sure where it's going to go. So let's see if we add one more like that. There, there, and there. I think that's good. Alright, so that's figured out. And the next thing is, sometimes I like to duplicate just to have versions before I Boolean. And I also don't want to do too much work, so I'm gonna only work on half, but we'll cut away in 1 sec. Select both, mesh, Boolean, and it doesn't matter which one you do, but the Boolean operation itself does matter. So let's open up the options for Booleans. Just open up Union and make sure that you set this to edge, because the default setting is to normal, which keeps both halves. We don't want both halves, we just want only the new geo. See, this part's going to be missing. Click apply, you can see what we get. We can then select the Boolean operation and change it to difference or intersection. Now sometimes you might not get the right result. So right now you can see how the base here is white and this is green. If I change the order, my Boolean operation will actually be different. if I change this to difference now you can see this remains. So if this happens, all you have to do is just change the order of selection, like this. Now you can see it cut that away, but I'm not sure why it did that. Now difference, and there we go. So this is perfect. Now I'm gonna clear history. If you don't clear history, things can get pretty messy. So I'm just gonna clear history, Shift Alt Delete, and now I can cut away parts I don't want to work on because there's no reason to. Everything's symmetrical. Delete that. So we only need to clean this up. So let's do that. Should be pretty easy. Delete those. And you can see, because we spent a little time figuring out our connections, everything's becoming easy. That goes there. Now we don't have a connection here. That's okay, we'll just add it. So I'm going to go set this to equal, turn off autocomplete, double click this edge, select this one, and then slide this roughly the same distance as that. It doesn't have to be exact, just you have to start from the bottom, like that. And this goes there. We don't have that, so this is going to come down here. So I'm going to add a loop here like this. Okay. So, oops. I'm gonna go from here to here to here like that. I'm gonna go from there to there. That's good. Control Delete. We have some missing edges here. Not a big deal. We're just gonna loop this all the way around. Like that, and then this, gonna re-loop this way. Okay, and to clean this up, I'm gonna go from here out like this and just make this nice and clean. And then I want to make sure this is not follows the curvature, so I'm gonna push this out a little bit, this a little, and that, and that. There we go. You can see it's starting to look nice and clean. So now we need to round this edge off. We need to add a bevel there. So I'm gonna set it to equal, like this. Okay, if that happens, it means we have some extra vertices somewhere, or things aren't connected. So I'm just gonna do a merge. Like that. Press 3. Check it's that it's smoothing, and then add a bevel here like this. Now I also want to add a bevel here on the inside, and the way I'm going to do this, you can see how this gets really soft there. I want to keep a nice even distribution of edge loops all the way through. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go from here to the middle here. You can hold shift if you want, and then back up there, right? Then I'm going to use the insert edge loop tool on equal, turn off autocomplete. Actually we need to go all the way through just for, so we can do this like that. Now we can do that. Double click here, double click there, and then shift select these two. Now you can see we have a bevel. Hit enter, and then select this, this, and control delete. So this vertex here, see how this is not even? That's really easy to fix. I'm gonna select this vertex, press R, hold D, V, and then middle drag the vertex there, and then scale from there. See, this way it scales on the plane. You can see what that looks like. So it looks like we have a nice clean cut there. Okay, so now I'm going to freeze transformations, reset transformations. Now I can hold shift, right click. I'm gonna mirror polygon in positive Z because you see the blue arrow here. It's in going positive, so I want to mirror positive Z this way. I'm gonna turn this way, hold shift again. I'm looking at the red arrow this way, so that's X, so that's positive X. And I'm gonna mirror in positive X like that. And then we can soften edge. Get rid of that. And there it is. Right. So very simple, very clean. So that's done. So the next thing I want to try and do are these rocket pods. And I feel like these are going to be actually a little simpler, and we're going to use very similar tools. So first thing I noticed out of the pods is that they have 5, if you look at this photo up here, they have 5 tubes here. So I'm going to make a cylinder, look from the top view, set the subdivision to 5, and then rotate this up 90 degrees. For me, it's easier to work this way. I'm going to add some caps, something to snap to. And I'm going to drop it below the grid and add a layer and set it to R. But first, let me just do this. I'm going to delete that and then set this to R. That way I can select it, but I can still see it. Get rid of the grid, never need it. I'm going to make a cylinder, place it here, and if we grab the subdivision and drag it, you can see the origin where it starts is here. So I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees. That way that happens. And then I want to set this to 8. That should be good. We're going to then move the pivot holding DX, snap it there, duplicate, and need to freeze this first. So select this. I'm gonna let's see, delete history, freeze, reset, and then duplicate. Rotate it 72 degrees, and then Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. There. I have that. Now I'm going to take this one, duplicate it, move it up, something like that, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Freeze transformations and reset pivot. And then this one, let's see, if we duplicate it, like, how many times? Let's try 30. Sometimes the Shift D or duplicate with transform doesn't work, so you just have to redo it. Let's see. Okay, that's good. I'm going to duplicate this again, move it up like that. I'm trying to keep like similar distances between them. And let's try this again. Duplicate. Oops, sorry. Before we duplicate, we need to freeze transformations, reset transformations, duplicate, and then I'm gonna see how this is gonna work. Let's say 20. like that. So here it is. This is our pattern. And what I notice is that we have these are lined up and so are these, so this is perfect. That means that will be the pattern that we can work with. It means we don't need anything else. So now I'm going to select these cylinders, going to combine them. Where's the combine? There. And then I'm going to select just the sides, and then I'm going to extrude them like that. Oops. Alright, that's good enough. The next thing I need to do is create a new cylinder and change the subdivisions like this. You see, this is 18, and 18 you can see every pod is now every cylinder is inside an edge here. So if I double this, 36, now it goes through. So this is the perfect cylinder we're going to use for that. We're going to then select the outside, extrude that, and then delete this and that. There, it's good for now. And then for here, I'm going to delete this. And then I'm also going to start connecting this. And I'm going to use the append to poly tool. I'm going to start connecting between here and here and here because those are repeatable patterns. I'm going to connect easy stuff like this. And I'm just pressing G after I make my initial connections. So I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing here. There we go. And here, just close these triangles off. Like that. Alright, so that's good. And the 5-star pattern here will have to do this independently from the rest, but that's perfectly okay. So now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to select these edges here. Actually, first let's connect like this. Select that, fill hole, select this, right click, shift right click, and then we want to do poke face like that. That should be good for now. Alright, and now I don't want to work on more than I need to. I'm going to delete this and delete that because we have a repeatable pattern. We don't have to work on everything. Select this and this, and I'm going to combine. I'm going to start connecting this as well. Get rid of that. Okay, that's good. All right, I'm gonna get rid of these lines here. We're gonna leave pentagons here because what's going to happen is we'll subdivide. These pentagons will work themselves out. And then here, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to treat this separately from that. So I'm going to go in and select all the vertices here. Hold X, turn off, actually set it to that, and there, snap at the grid. And then we'll separate. And get rid of that. So I'm going to duplicate, rotate 72 degrees, and Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. Like that. Combine that. And this one, I'm gonna duplicate and rotate 60 degrees. Select everything, combine. So you can see what we're trying to get here. And now we need to start filling in this area. So use a pen to poly and do things that are really close. See, like that. Trying to find the best way to do this. Okay, almost done. Okay, so wherever we see triangles like this, I'm going to delete so we can make pentagons, and then hopefully everything will fill in nicely. Alright, so now the way the pot is set up, these are extruded up like that, and the rest are extruded down. But these I'm just going to delete. So then if we look at this, this is what we created. I want to delete this as well because we'll remake those. So you can see there's our pattern. Okay, so now the next part is pretty easy. I'm going to first add an extra loop here. that. And then I want to do a single subdivision. See, this cleans everything up, gives us nice good geo. There's everything is now quads. Now I'm going to select this point right in the middle and press B for soft select. Then hold B, drag it until it touches the edge completely, like that. Go to the move tool, go to my soft select, set this to volume. You can do surface, but I want to do volume because I want it to be a complete even distribution. Set this to linear like this, and then grab and pull. Turn off self select, and there we go. You can see what we made, and the rest is pretty simple. I'm going to then select these edges here from the side view like this. Okay, so we're going to go to select and then convert selection to shell border. Just deselect that and that, and then we can extrude down like this at first, and then down longer, hold V, snap like that. Alright, I'm going to select this edge loop. First move it down a little bit, then extrude like that much. One more time, and then move it all the way down. There we go. And then for this, we can do the same thing. Select that, shift, oops, sorry, spacebar, select, convert selection to shell border. Select that, and then for this one, I'm gonna extrude, move up to create a bevel, move up again, hold V and middle drag to do that. I think it's about this tall. Extrude up. By the way, if you press like R or W and you want to go back to the manipulator for the extrude, press T. And then extrude in once. Actually extrude in a little more and add a couple divisions like that. And down one more time, and then all the way down. There we go. If we look at the wireframe, I think it looks pretty good. It's nice and clean. And I think it would be pretty difficult to get this pattern any other way. I think this way kind of works pretty well. I like working flat and then distorting as I need to. So yeah, I think we're done, and I'm hoping you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Alright, thanks for watching.